produces milk for the consumer. It is therefore of great importance that the farmer works according to the stipulated norms concerning correct handling procedures. Disinfected containers are used already when the milk leaves the farm in order to minimize the spread of microorganisms. The farmer is actually first in line for ensuring a product of high quality. And by first in line we mean, of course, the source to the final product. When the milk has left the farm, it is we at the dairy who make sure that the product is taken care of in the best way possible. And so what we plan to focus on in this film is the dairy and the uninvited guest, the microorganism. Allow us to present John. John's working days are very similar in many ways. However, in his immediate surroundings, the days are never the same, as the environment around him is simply teeming with life. A life of microorganisms. The three groups are bacteria, mold, and yeast. Let us say that we take bacteria and place it in an environment where there is an unlimited amount of food and other necessary requirements for sustaining life, such as moisture and a favorable climate. Suppose we start a process using medium-sized bacteria, which is 1 micrometer in length, impossible to see with the naked eye. Growth takes place by splitting every 20th minute, which is the maximum rate of growth for most bacteria. Let us imagine that we place bacteria on top of each other in a line as they multiply. At the same time, a beam of light is shone into space. It would take only 25 hours for the bacteria to catch up with and pass this light, at a speed of approximately 50 times the speed of light. You can just imagine what would happen to the milk. What then can we do to protect ourselves from this problem? Well, the first thing we should think about is cleanliness in the work area. Because, as you can see, in this environment, the microorganisms can have a field day and are able to flourish at an alarming rate without any difficulty at all, both on the floor as well as in the air. However, if we clean up after ourselves, the bacteria doesn't like it at all. For who would want to come to the dinner table if there was no food? The second area of risk is you yourself. Take a visit to the toilet, for example. It goes without saying that you need to wash your hands after using the toilet. Look here now when John... John, may we have a look at your hands? This is the result if you do not wash your hands. An unrestrained orgy for the microorganisms. Plenty of food and drink, and you can well imagine how they would have multiplied if they'd been allowed to continue. What then can be done to get rid of them? Simple. Wash them away. When you wash carefully, you minimize the risk of spreading bacteria into the immediate surroundings. It is also important to mention that you should wash carefully before entering your place of work, because it is here that the bacteria can cause most damage. Disinfection is also very important. It is the last line of defense in preventing the spread of microorganisms within the work environment. What exactly would have been the result if he had not washed? Well, take a changeover of packaging material, for example, which John is doing at the moment. He would then have transferred the microorganisms when he came in contact with the material, which in turn could have disastrous consequences for the product and could also lead to shorter storage time. For the consumer, this can also result in sickness such as nausea and, in the worst cases, food poisoning. This is how the sequence of events could look in milk packaging which is contaminated with microorganisms. Not a pretty sight, is it? Another important aspect within this area is clothing and the changing room. John, isn't it about time you changed that overall? That's better. Now we can get back to work again. Should we take a look in John's and his colleagues' changing room? It looks very nice in here. But if it had looked like this, it wouldn't really have mattered if John had changed his overall or not, because, as you already know, he would have taken out more microorganisms than he went in with. The measures covered are only a very small part of those which can be taken. Most important of all, however, is that you work in a clean environment where you alone play a key role in the measures which can be taken. In all places around the world, we must endeavour to work according to the same standards. Only very little from each individual is required to achieve this. And in conclusion, we can certainly say that John has learnt a great deal about the environment in which he works. I hope that you have too.